Okay, we left off page Nun Gimel, in the Maharal. Quoted the Gemara in that Nun Gimel, page Nun Gimel, the Maharal. He'd quoted the Gemara. Omer Abaylo Rabdimi, last quarter of the page. Rabbi said to Rabdim, B'marova b'may zihiri. And Eretz, what are they very careful with in terms of the behavior? Omeli b'achvurei ape, not to cause a person's face to turn white. Omer Abchadina kol yordim legehenim chutz migimel. Everyone goes to Gehenim except for three. Everybody goes to Gehenim. For instance, the tzaddik doesn't go to Gehenim. Elaimo kol hayordim legehenim olim. Whoever goes to Gehenim, ultimately they ascend. Chutz migimel shiordim meinim olim. The three people, they go, and they don't ascend. Ve'eluhein abol leishasish. We're speaking, as I mentioned, without tshuva. If the person doesn't do tshuva before he dies. Hamal b'nei chaver b'rabim. Person who embarrasses a person publicly. A person who goes and gives his fellow a name which is a pejorative type name. Discussed this on Friday. Mechane hainu malbim. Somewhere says, but mechane is malbim. First time a person walks in and you say chubby. So you embarrass them. So mechane, giving a person a pejorative name is malbim. You're embarrassing him. On that Gemara it says afa gav de doshba b'shmei. Even though he's used to the name already, he doesn't turn white any longer. Doesn't turn colorless when you call it because he's used to it already. He's made peace with it, but nevertheless, the name is pejorative, and it's actually an indication that you don't have any consideration for that person by calling him that name. Omer Rabbi Rachon, Omer Rabbi Yochanan, Nochlo lo'odom sheva la'sofik yeshasish b'al yavim nechaveir rabim. Rabbi Yochanan says it's better to a person to have relations with a questionable married woman than to embarrass a person publicly. Minoli, mididosh, rovo, mididosh rovo. There's rovo, dechsiv, didosh rovo, mai dechsiv, ubetzali somchu v'nesofu, kroa v'lodomu. What is this speaking about? David had relations with Bathsheba. He had relations with, it wasn't simple that it wasn't Neishes Ish. Right? If he would have returned from the front, she would have been Neishes Ish. So when he had relations with her, there was a question what the outcome would be. And yet, he was punished. David was punished. He became a leper. He lost his first child, right? Before Shlomo was born, first child. But a person embarrasses a person publicly, which were all his detractors, as was discussed tomorrow Shabbos also. Omad David l'fnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shalom Golav Yidul Fonech Shem Hoyi Mekarin B'Sori Lo Hoyo Domi Shosis Loretz. He says, if they would tear my flesh, you know my blood would not drip to the ground. That's the way they actually they tortured him. Like his blood was frozen in his veins. He says, even when I would lecture on the goyim and the olas, which are the most difficult, the most intense level of Torah, what was the middle of the shiur? Talking about Shoshanoga Hasapora. You're talking about the lesions, various. We want to ask you a question. Well, what's the halacha if a man has relations with a married woman? This is in the middle of everything. No relevance. And I would respond, the liability, the penalty is strangulation. However, after he's put to death, he has a share in the world to come. This is what he would respond to his detractors. But a person who embarrasses a person publicly, he has no share in the world to come. Omer bar Zucha bar Tuvio, Omer Rav Amilo, Omer Rav Chanu bar Bizna, Omer Rav Shlomi Chasido, Amilo, Omer Rav Yochanan, Mishum Rav Shimi Yechoy, Noach Lodem Shiapa Latz Mitel Kivshon Aish, Val Yamnei Chavei Rav. It's better to cast yourself into a fiery kiln than embarrass a person publicly. Menodlon, Bitomer, right? Rashi brings us. No. He didn't do it to embarrass him.
He didn't go to embarrass him, but in the end...
First of all, we're talking about the rabbim is speaking about a person's... It's on an ongoing basis. an ongoing basis.
That's repetitive.
Person embarrassed once in his life.
So with both those episodes of forgetting to upload and Pinchas with Zivri, they were the same parsha, I think, over there, very.
There's nothing with it. I mean, you have a right. If you know the rabbi doesn't know the answer, you don't ask him the question. But here, I'm obligated to ask, and give the source. Just to have the Gemara says, we had the Gemara on Shabbos that Rav was the nephew of Reb Chia. Rav was the nephew of Reb Chia. Reb Chia was a Talmud of Reb Yehuda Nossi, Judah the Prince, and Rav also was a student. But Reb Chia was his uncle. So, and Rav had a very, very sharp mind. We had a Gemara culling. Gemara says that the students, they would sit in rows. Rav sat 18 rows before, in front of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan was 18 rows back, right? And when Rav would engage in a dialogue with Rabbi Yehuda Nossi, they couldn't follow it. That's how advanced it was. So Rav asked Rabbi Yehuda Nossi a question. It's like Ernie asked me a question sometime, and asked in the presence of his Rebbe, presence of his uncle Reb Chia, and it was like a subject matter which they weren't studying then, so off from somewhere else, not off tangent. So Reb Chia says to his nephew.
That sounds like that.
That's exactly. So Reb Chia says to his nephew, to Rav, he refers to him as Shinino, sharp one. It's a good thing that Rabbi Yehuda Nossi is a Gaver Rabbo, is a great Torah sage, where you could ask him in any area, even if he's not holding it at this moment, because otherwise you would have embarrassed him. Therefore, you should only ask the Rebbe and the subject matter that you're at. But only a person who's a Gaver Rabbo, like Rabbi Yehuda Nossi, knows everything, he's holding wherever you ask. It's never a question. He says it's a good thing he's that, because otherwise you would have embarrassed him. Because there's no, that's how serious it is. He can never be purged. The sin is so severe and so terminal, he can't be rehabilitated from such a sin. As I said, where he didn't do tshuva in his lifetime. The Gemara says Suffolk Ishish. But they would ask Ishish.
Rabbi, there are nicknames that are affectionate, not necessarily critical or making fun. I mean, there were kids that were called Red or Whitey or Curly. You know, I mean, it wasn't necessarily a negative thing. It was a characteristic that was just sort of fun, and it became affectionate.
Not chubby.
Chubby, no, chubby. I think could be a negative.
I like people curly.
Okay. Depends what the name is.
Yeah, right.
Like I told you, there was a person, he ran the, what's his name, houseware business, they called him Mouse. Because his face was shaped like a mouse. Okay. Yes, he got used to it. And they called him, well, throughout his life, he was called a Mouse. And he had an exterminating service, part of the houseware business. Okay.
What's the benefit for someone burning forever in Gehenna?
No, it's just telling you.
There's no upside to that.
It does make a difference, but you pay the price. There's no upside to it. The person will never, it's just telling how severe the sin is.
But everything's supposed to be for a positive. I mean,
No.
Gehenna is to cleanse somebody so that they could ultimately...
Still, the process is positive. But
Right.
factually, it never ends. It never ends. Eventually, the neshama gets destroyed. It gets destroyed. Eventually, the neshama will be destroyed. At the end of time, the neshama will be destroyed.
I thought it'd come back to do...
Yeah, a person has to have merit to come back.
Gehenna is in a cleansing process, so...
It is rebuilt. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But this person's not being rehabilitated. He's not being cleansed. He's just
As much
being
because
burned.
the process is rehabilitative. Let's say a person is being Gehenna for a week. So why isn't he for a minute? The answer is because it takes a little bit at a time. It's less and less, but it has to continue, right? A minute's not enough. He has to be there for a week.
But eternally does nothing.
Does something.
That's my point.
It does something because every little bit, it's a rehabilitation.
But there's no...
It doesn't end.
Never rebuilt it.
So it doesn't make a difference. Ultimately, he's destroyed. When the whole process of kapora ends, which is ultimately with Chias HaMesim, he's going to be destroyed. The neshama is destroyed. Because that means that's neshama going into the oblivion.
It's a new neshama now.
No, there's no new neshama. No, not all the ones who merit to come back. This person never merits to come back.
So I'm missing the point. The point of the value of this person going through getting him his wife.
It's a